Hey guys, my name is Timio, and today I wanted to do a Did You Know style of video for The Division. I've already put an absurd amount of hours in this game so far, and I wanted to go over some of the tips and advice that I found very helpful, but may not be exactly obvious. And so first up, did you know that you can get extra experience and loot by completing all the side missions in a district? I'm sure you already know about the safe houses located all over the place, and if you're not already going to the safe houses, I recommend that you do because it gives you the lay of the land. If you talk to like the commanding officer there, he'll let you know where all the side missions are located. Once you complete all of these said side missions though, go back to that same guy and he's gonna give you an insane amount of experience and some pretty awesome loots. This was the very first time that I actually got my first purple item in The Division. It was a craftable, but once I crafted, it was one of the best items that I ever had. And so if you're looking for some really easy loot and experience, do all the side missions in those districts and you're gonna be rewarded quite heavily. Another thing I found very helpful is that you can upgrade your crafting material. All of those blues and greens that you've been deconstructing along the way to make room in your backpack actually will go to use in the endgame contents. If you go to the crafting station at your main base, scroll all the way down to the bottom to the crafting material, and you'll notice that you can use your green weapon parts to upgrade it to a blue weapon part. 5 greens will create 1 blue. 5 blues will create 1 yellow. And so if you're someone who has been constantly just selling their gear as they go, which is fine because you are going to be using that money to buy awesome items, like that's probably still a good idea, but if you want to get a lot of crafting material so that once you reach level 30 and you want to get that really awesome craftable item, this seems to be one of the best ways to go about it. On a completely different note, do you know the difference between the base stat on a skill and the total stat column? For the longest time, I had no idea what the difference was between the base damage of a sticky grenade and the total damage. I thought to myself, is the total damage the maximum amount of damage a sticky grenade can do against an enemy? Is it some number in between? Does it like fluctuate? I had absolutely no idea. And so the way it works is that the base column indicates how much damage you're gonna do if you have no skill power on any of your items. Skill power is one of the 3 main stats that you're gonna be getting in the Division, and if you have none of it for whatever reason, that's how much damage this skill is going to do when you are fighting against enemies. As soon as you start to get some skill power though, let's say you have a lot of it, that is where the total column comes into play. And so if you have a sticky grenade that delves for, let's say, 1,000 base damage, but it indicates that you do 10,000 total damage, the 10,000 total damage is actually the true representation of how viable or how much you are going to be doing with that particular skill. And so if you're someone like me who had no idea that that was the case, and maybe it was just me, maybe I'm the odd one out here and I'm just the loser, but if you had no idea that that was the difference between the 2 stats, hopefully this has become a little bit more clear. Another thing I didn't know about for the longest time was how to mod your armor. I know, of course, that you can put modifications on weapons. I'm not that obtuse, but ever since the release of the game, I've been getting these item drops that indicate that I should be able to put modifications on my armor, but I had no idea how to do it. The reason why it's a little confusing is that not every armor that you get can be modified. The way that you know is that when you're looking at a specific armor, in the bottom left-hand corner of the icon, you'll notice that there is this little small box. If the box is empty, that indicates that you can put a mod in that item. If there's no box, which is going to be a lot of your items when you start to play the game, not a lot of your armor is going to have this slot available, then that means that you cannot modify that armor piece. I know it's not very clear. I think that Ubisoft could have done a better job of explaining this, but hopefully now you can use this knowledge to upgrade some of your armor. It does work the same way that the weapon mods work. So if you want to swap in and out a mod whenever you want, you can do so. If you're running a little low on health, you want some tankiness, you can add in a stamina mod. If you want a little bit more damage, you can upgrade it with some primary damage. Just know that alongside the weapon system, that if you want to sell or if you want to dismantle this item, make sure that you take it off if you want to hold on to that modification. The final piece of advice that I have is that did you know that you can dismantle all of your unwanted items in one easy motion? For the longest time, I was going through my inventory and individually dismantling every single green that I didn't want. It was very time consuming. Instead of doing that, you have the ability to mark green or whatever item that you don't want as junk. As soon as you mark all of the items that you think are junk, you can then dismantle them all in one simple motion, and it will give you all of the crafting materials at the very end. It saves a lot of time. It has made my inventory management a lot easier. And so if you were like me who was doing it individually, I highly recommend that you try this out. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you'd like to learn more about The Division, I will leave a link down below in the description that you can check out. But before I take off, do you have any unknown tips that you found to be very helpful? All of us are learning the game right now. All of us have no idea what's going on. And so if you have any helpful advice, let everyone know down below. But yeah, guys, until tomorrow, have a good one and take it easy.